Окей. Дубль 2. Да? В прошлый раз я не понял. Просто в прошлый раз я не понял, как это вот работает. Я имею в виду, я кликаю на экран, вот, как вы видите, кликаю. Оно как как его так сказать, громкость. Я просто как будто не зажал, но я просто кликал, но сейчас, я сейчас попробую именно поиграть в Getting Over It Scratch. Да уж. Я даже не знаю, что именно сказать. Вот. Чё с моими экранами? Ладно. Вот, нажался. Отлично. Окей. Окей, да. Клёво. Оба. Тихо. Спокойно. Оба. Нормально. Да, это вообще замечательно. Оу. Аляпа. Прикольно. Отлично. Тихо. Оба.
There's no feeling more intense than starting over.
Есть.
If you've broken your Scratch project moments after you've shared it, as I have, or you spent hours working on a project only to notice too late that one of your sprites has unexplainably gone missing. If you've made use of that difficult-to-name thing block within the sensing category, amazingly useful, but capable, due to a Scratch bug, of leaving you crying as it dumps all your scripts in one big unordered heap. If you've made real progress coding a game over the course of the week, only to come back the next day to discover you weren't even logged in, nothing has been saving. Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day at school, then what you're about to go through may be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
Есть.
All right. Thanks for coming with me on this trip. I'll understand if you need to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and remember to pause the game by pressing P. On Scratch, you can find loads of remixed or reimagined recreations of existing games. With good reason. George Bernard Shaw said, "Imitation is not just the sincerest form of flattery. It's the sincerest form of learning." This game is a recreation of a game that came out in 2017, titled Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. That game returns a homage to a free game that came out in 2002. Both games involved dragging yourself, using a hammer, up a mountain assembled from assets and objects sourced from many other games. It seems appropriate then that, when trying to recreate Getting Over It in Scratch, that we should construct our mountain from the same assets used in literally millions of Scratch projects, the unmistakable contents of the Scratch costume library. Unlike Unity or Unreal, Scratch does not provide you with a built-in physics or 3D rendering engine. It has no state-of-the-art debugger. You can't even pause your scripts. We are forced to program old school. Our experience capped at 30 frames per second on a 480 by 360 pixel stage. But these very restrictions force us to experiment, to think out of the box, to grow as developers as we become masters of all things Scratch. And let's not forget, what we lack in technology, we make up for in community. This fantastic bunch of budding software engineers, building, learning, creating, playing, remixing, as diverse a group of people as the very Scratch assets we now so skillfully attempt to ascend.
Не туда. What? Да. А, фак, мой указательный палец. Больно. Блин. Я удерживаю громкость, и мне больно. Серьезно. Это вообще больно удерживать эту громкость. Ну, громкость это, короче, я же покажу. Вот. Допустим, кнопка. Так. Что вот? Ни черта не видно. Ну, короче, где-то, допустим, наверное, что понятно вроде бы. Это, допустим, кнопка уменьшить громкость. Это получается правая кнопка мыши. А вот именно плюсик это левая кнопка мыши. Так что, ну, вроде да. Это так. Блин. Я один вижу, что у меня соскальзывает. Ва? Мне... Мать твоя женщина. Ёшки. Оп. Ох, да уж. Сложно. Ова. Ова. Нет, ты никуда. Вообще не туда. Оп. Нет. Ай. Есть. 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 Хай. О май freaking god. Жесть, жестоко.
The act of climbing, in the digital world or in the real world, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor. No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. When you start getting over it, you're standing next to a dead tree, which blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. You prod and poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and strength, trying to find a way up. When starting a new Scratch project, that initial blank slate is both refreshing and at times a little scary. Wouldn't it be great if we could travel forward in time and review our finished projects to see how well they turned out? I certainly wish we could. The real draw of coding, what gives it that special zing, is the challenge of accomplishing something you've never done before.
Ова. Отлично. Ова. О боже, что за рука, что за... О боже, окей. Ова. Прото... Ова. Есть. Оп. Окей. Ай-я! No. Хай! Мало. Маловато было, окей. Не вижу. Нет. Есть. Есть. О боже. Наконец-то. Палка. Ай. Есть. Оп. Тихо. Оп. Хоп. О боже. Это невероятно сложно. Это невероятно сложно. Хоп. Окей. Стоп, а где голос?
At this point, you
Алло.
don't want to fall into the trap of rushing into creating loads of content, designing all the levels, the player costumes, all the easier stuff that can be perfected later. No, before all that, you need to prod and poke that tree. That is, understanding the coding difficulties you're expecting to face and try out any ideas to solve them. It may not be at your time level, but at least this way you have a good idea of how well your project is likely to go, and potentially save yourself a lot of time.
Не-не-не-не-не-не-не. Нет. Боже мой. Оба. Да вот. Оба. Ди-ди-ди. Хух. Боже. Боже. Не. Хоп. Не, блин. О боже. Сколько вообще FPS? What the fuck? FPS такой маленький, я, блин, я не знаю, что именно сказать, лол. Impossible, если я так понял. Вот чёт. Вот чёт. Хух! Есть. Пусть. Есть. 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 Oh, yes. Я не знаю, возможно, я дойду-ка до этих подарков есть. Боже мой. Я не знаю, это... я не знаю, возможно, либо нет, но... What the... Я не знаю, но это я точно думаю, что... Как-то бы возможно пройти в... Не-не-не. Пройти Getting Over It на мобильном устройстве. Я даже вообще не знаю. What? Я даже... Не, все сначала, все сначала. Потому что... Есть. Приклеился, типа того. Оба.
This project began life a couple of months ago as 3 simple scripts: the player, hammer, and level.
Есть.
I spent no time on the art, just using Scratchcat and a few rectangles drawn in the sprite editor. The scripts for the player quickly mocked up in a similar fashion to those I teach on my YouTube channel. With the hammer I had to improvise because I'd never done anything quite like that before. And boy, did I prod and poke at those scripts.
Хух. Хорошо, что не упал. Хоп. Не. Отлично. Все окей. Все окей. Окей. Это окей. О. Страшно. Страшно падать. О. Окей. Есть попытки. Ой, есть. What the fuck? Не. О, нет. Опа. Есть. Окей. Давай-ка на котел. Есть. Окей. No. Хоп. Блин, что так слабо? Опа. Так. Дубль 3. И пум. Нормально. Окей. Так. Отлично. Вот туда. Окей. Хух. Я не понял. Я не понял. Есть. На змею. Давай. Так. Нападу. Так.
What I had imagined and the results I was achieving were hard to reconcile. The hammer and the player sprites would get stuck in the walls and ground, shake and jiggle and clip up to the top of the screen. Worst of all, when I tried the bread and butter action of lifting the player up upon the hammer, any tiny movement would throw the player into a crazy up and down motion as if bouncing upon a possessed pogo stick. Things don't always turn out as you want them to.
Есть.
And sometimes it's good to
Клюв
take a break.
пингвина.
So, for the time being, I shelved the project,
Лиса.
letting it slowly slip down the list of unshared projects, joining the countless multitude of unfinished, unseen projects that haunt the vast storage archives of MIT.
Лягушка. Оп. Блин, я, конечно, как и я точно как-то бы на бабочку это стукнул. То есть, ну, вы сами понимаете. Хоп.
Have you, as you've been playing this game, stopped to wonder how you can balance on a hammer that is held out to one side? It feels quite natural in game, but try it in the real world, and you'll not get your feet off the ground. No, this game is bending the rules of physics. Although I was not actively working on the project, the desire to code the game and solve the initial problems constantly played on my mind. Finally, I decided to give it another go.